The first news, Crystal Barisuk's drops some Red Wet, comes out for Christmas. American Idol Season 9 runner-up Crystal Barisuk recently shocked longtime fans when she tweeted a photo of herself since the famous dreadlocks she wore for more than 7 years, rocking a modest shoulder-length do instead. I know it sounds gross, but I kept all the hair. I have it in a bag, Crystal revealed with a chuckle, speaking to Yahoo Music after a sold-out gig at McCabe's guitar shop in Los Angeles. Those dreads were really heavy. They'd been weighing me down. I've actually been gradually cutting them off myself, one by one. I would try to comb them out and they would just disintegrate. I haven't been to a professional hairdresser yet, Crystal said, fingering the ends of her DIY haircut. As for what Crystal plans to do that bag of discarded dreadlocks, locks of love is apparently out of the question. No, they do not want dreads. Dreads smell, Crystal laughed. But she does plan to do something special and spiritual with her dreads, like bury them by the roots of a tree, or perhaps incorporate them into some future artwork. Crystal recently released a holiday song, Coming Out for Christmas, at which time she took to Twitter to clarify that she is bisexual. The second news, 6 reasons why I'm giving up on Grey's Anatomy. Oh, Grey's Anatomy, you had me at hello, and you lost me at Bally's OCD. I've stuck with the show that made Shonda Rhimes a household name through Izzy's Catherine Hagel, Ghost Sex, the Alex Eva saga, Intern Fight Club, and even that god-awful musical episode. When people ask me why I'm still watching Grey's, currently limping through its 10th season, my response has always been, I'm going down with that ship. But season 10 has me on the verge of jumping overboard. Here are 6 reasons why I'm ready to give up on Grey's. 1. The plot lines feel inconsistent to the established character histories. The ridiculous emergence of Bally's obsessive-compulsive disorder is just the latest unforeseen crisis to pop up, only to be, hopefully in this case, quashed couple of episodes later via a half-hearted resolution. See also, Alex Daddy issues, Cozona's attempt at therapy. Sean is playing narrative whack-a-mole, and it's not working. Would it kill them to develop a long-form narrative and stick with it? Grey's Anatomy has never been entirely plausible. But the producers are really scraping the bottom of the plot barrel this season. Weber's stubbornness in his hospital bed is a young, worthy storyline that needs to be put to bed as ASAP. Oh, and did I mention that Bally has OCD? Bally has OCD. Can Greg's anatomy go on past season 10? 2. Those interns. Oh, the biggest elephant in the operating room is the latest herd of interns, who, yes, are no longer interns, but still deserve to be referred to as such. All of them either fall into the category of boring, awful, or dead. Even though no one but Shane really cared when you died. The relationship between Joe and Alex, which hasn't even gotten off the ground, is already exhausting. The one who's dating Jackson, I call her Lassie, is such a nonentity that I don't even know her name. And don't even get me started on the now defunct. Fingers crossed. Dallas, the Dalliance between Arizona and the annoying Lee. A great way to solve the hospital's budget problem would be to shade these guys' salaries. Another character who should be shown the door. April. Her her celibacy. Her celibacy stance started out as a nice diversion from the hospital staff's game of musical beds, but now it's just kind of lame, and it's really hard to root for her and Matthew, knowing that he's just her backup plan after Jackson rejected her advances. 3. Sandra Elle is already tiptoeing out the door. Christina Young's storyline this season, the petty arguments with Meredith, the ridiculous flirtation with Shane, is such an obvious, predictable means to telegraph Sandra's upcoming departure that is almost insulting to both O and the audience. Probable spoiler alert: Young is going to realize that her relationship with Meredith won't ever be what it once was, and that it's just too difficult to be around Owen as he's trying to move on. So she's going to bid farewell to Seattle and move on with her life. See what they're doing there. If the story is going to continue this way, it might be best to just get rid of Christina mid-season rather than dragging this out to the end. 4. Murder has lost its luster. After 9 seasons of winning voiceovers, I'm thrilled that Meredith has finally found domestic bliss with Derek. But the show's central couple needs an arc that's more interesting than the classic new parent sleep deprivation. STAT. Note to the writers: an interesting storyline doesn't always have to involve infidelity. Malpractice lawsuits are a great example. The murder romance was one of the reasons people fell in love with the show to begin with. Let's give it a little more spice. Full TV report card. How are the new shows doing? 5. Once enlightening flashbacks are now just cheap, lazy storytelling. The best episode of this insufferable season was the November 14th installment. Sorry seems to be the hardest word. It's fitting that it was a flashback, because such a strong hour clearly feels out of place in season 10. But wait a second, does the Greg's writing staff really expect viewers to buy that Carly and Arizona decided to have another baby, got pregnant and went through a miscarriage, and none of this was shown when it was actually happening? To quote pre-children Meredith, seriously? That's just lazy writing. It It's almost as if, just as Kylie found a piece of important mail behind her bookcase in that episode, Shonda discovered a forgotten post-it note under her desk that read A plus scene, miscarriage, and said, "Oh, shoot, let's just throw it in anyway." 6. Even the medical stories are off. Forget all the personal drama, though. Even the medical cases, which have consistently been the star of the show, are lackluster this season. The zombie bite comes to mind. I never thought I would long for the days of the couple who got stuck together while having sex. Ultimately, maybe a more appropriate question is now. Is not how, but whether Grace should continue. With Pompeo, Dempsey, Chambers, Wilson, and Ramirez's contracts up at the end of this season, perhaps the best solution, as is often the case with a terminally ill patient, is just to pull the plug. Do you think Greg's Anatomy is missing the mark this season? Sound off in the comments. The third news: Disney removes suggestive plants. Sneakers for young girls meant to promote the film High School Musical 2 are being withdrawn after a complaint that they were sexually suggestive. Sue Ruff bought the underwear for her 7-year-old granddaughter at Asda in Broadstairs, Kent, and took them home to find the words "Dive in on them." Disney apologized for any offense and said a genuine oversight had led to the words being used out of context. Astor said the sale was completely innocent and was not meant to offend. Mrs. Ruff said, "Both myself and my daughter looked at them and thought, 'Oh my goodness.' There was stuff written on them which I thought, and so did my granddaughter, was inappropriate for a 7-year-old to be wearing." Disney issued a statement which said, "We are very sorry to hear that a customer is unhappy with one of our High School Musical products and apologize for any offense caused." The sneakers in question were designed using our High School Musical 2 artwork, which uses the creative theme of a swimming pool, as this is a key part of the film's storyline. Unfortunately, a genuine oversight was made and the text on this project was used outside the context of the swimming pool. This project will not be part of any forthcoming collections. A spokesperson for the company said the underwear, which was only sold at Asda, was part of a collection aimed at 8 to 12-year-olds, but was available in sizes from children aged 4. An Asda spokesperson said, "There is very limited stock available of this particular line, still remaining in Asda stores." It was completely innocent and certainly not meant to cause any offense to customers. However, we will not withdraw the project from all stores. The fourth news: Fast and Furious 7 to go ahead after Walker's death. Fast and Furious 7 will still go ahead following the sudden death of one of its stars, Paul Walker, according to The Hollywood Reporter. The Trad magazine quotes a source who said the production is facing a delay, but the film will still be released. Empire magazine's Helen O'Hara told the BBC that most of the film has been shot, but still had to be completed. Walker, 40, died on Saturday when a Porsche being driven by a friend, who also died, crashed near Los Angeles. Walker's publicist, Anne Van Eyden, named the driver as Roger Rogers, with whom the actor owned a luxury car business. The cast and crew of Fast and Furious 7 were taking a break from filming during the Thanksgiving holiday, but were scheduled to reconvene in Atlanta on Sunday. Ms. O'Hara said, "They will want to take some time. The key thing right now is that they have to do the right thing by Paul and his family. That said, it's an important series. They will still be keen not to abandon it." Terry Gilliam faced a similar situation when Heath Ledger died while shooting the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Filming on the fantasy movie was halted temporarily before Jude Law, Johnny Depp, and Colin Farrell were drafted in to portray various versions of Ledger's character. Other film stars who have died mid-shot include Brandon Lee and Oliver Reed. Richard Harris also died after filming his role as Professor Dumbledore in the second Harry Potter film, and was replaced in later installments by Michael Gambon. But the dilemma is particularly sensitive for Fast and Furious, said Ms. O'Hara, given that the series revolves around high-speed street car racing. Tour de Force, another film starring Walker, Hurricane Katrina drama Hours, will still be released in the U.S. on December 13th. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the film's producer, Peter Safran, told the magazine he would have very much wanted us to move forward. Paul Pressburger, CEO of film company Pantaleon Productions, told The Hollywood Reporter, "After lots of back and forth, this is our decision. It's Paul's tour de force. He's in every frame of the movie." On Sunday, fans of Walker gathered to leave flowers, candles, and memorabilia at the crash site. His Fast and Furious co-star, Tyrese Gibson, wept as he visited the scene. "Paul is the heartbeat of this franchise, and we're gonna see to it that his energy and presence lives on forever," Gibson posted on his Instagram account. He also posted a video of the film cast and crew recently celebrating Walker's birthday. "Rip my friend," Walker's co-star Jordan Brewster said. "Paul was pure light. I cannot believe he is gone." Fellow Fast and Furious actor Vin Diesel wrote that heaven has gained a new angel. "Brother, I'll miss you very much," Diesel said on Twitter. In a second message, he said, "My heart is hurting so sad. Paul Walker was a good man. Rip my friend. Sorry to the Walker family." Other tributes came from John "The Rock" Johnson, Jessica Alba, Ludacris, and Universal Pictures. His father paid tribute to his son on the website Just Jared, saying, "His heart was so big. I was proud of him every day of his life. I'm just glad that every time I saw him, I told him I loved him, and he would say the same thing to me." Walker was reprising his role as Brian O'Connor in Fast and Furious 7. He starred in 5 of the 6 movies in the popular franchise. He began acting as a young boy when his mother, a model, took him to auditions for commercials. He won roles in the TV series Touched by an Angel and The Young and the Restless before moving on to supporting roles in late 1990s films like with Varsity Blues and She's All That. After the success of the first Fast and Furious film, Walker became the leading man for the second installment when Vin Diesel dropped out. Diesel later returned, however, and the six-film franchise has now earned as estimated $2.4 billion at global box offices. The latest installment, the sixth, was the most lucrative so far. Walker is survived by his daughter, Mado. The fifth news. Why are we more scared of raw egg than reheated rice? 25 years ago, Minister Edwina Curran sparked a scare over salmonella in eggs and had to resign amid outrage from farmers and plummeting sales. The panic has shaped the way we think about food safety. There are foods that people instinctively associate with the risk of poisoning: raw chicken, raw egg, shellfish. At the time of Edwina Curry's remarks, which were perceived to have dramatically exaggerated the prevalence of the disease in eggs in the UK, there were 12,302 cases of the Salmonella PT4 strain, most commonly found in poultry. It dropped by 54% in the 3 years following the introduction of the British Lion Scheme in 1998, which saw hens vaccinated against Salmonella, and last year there were just 229 reported cases. But people are still mistrustful. Pregnant women, the elderly, and young children are warned against eating a running yolk, and forums on parenting websites contain discussion threads on the pros of raw egg mix. The saying was that salmonella and eggs go together like a horse and carriage, says Sarah O'Brien, professor of infection epidemiology and zoonosis at the University of Liverpool. But that's not the case. Improved testing methods and improved treatment mean foods that used to be unusual causes of outbreaks have become the usual suspects. It's impossible to precisely tally the number of cases caused by each type of food, but from what is known there are some less expected culprits. Watercress, bean sprouts, and curry leaves are believed to have been behind some of the most high-profile outbreaks of food poisoning recently. People have died after eating contaminated contaminated celery, peanut butter, and cantaloupe melon. One of the more unusual outbreaks of food poisoning happened in 1951 in the French town of Pont-Saint-Esprit. 5 people died and many suffered hallucinations after eating rye bread contaminated by ergot, a poisonous fungus. Ergot poisoning is, thankfully, easily avoided. Any food can be poisonous if it is not prepared or stored correctly, says Dr. Harana Musa Moja of the Food Research Centre at Manchester Metropolitan University. Chicken, eggs, and shellfish are classed as high risk, but so are rice, pasta, couscous, starchy foods that have high moisture content. Ready meals and cooked meats are also on the high risk list, but people don't tend to think about them so much. Many people are completely unaware of the dangers of eating reheated rice or pasta. Our perception of the risks is shaped by high-profile incidents. Curries remark that most of the egg production in this country, sadly, is now affected with salmonella, caused a 60% drop in egg sales, and she was forced to resign. The loss of revenue meant 4 million hens were slaughtered. But while the industry recovered, the egg's reputation for potential menace was longer lasting. Salmonella in UK eggs is now very rare, but the official line that raw egg should be avoided will remain. It is about knowing that the risk exists, even if it is small, says Bob Martin of the Food Standards Agency. Despite episodes like the Sainsbury's watercress recall, it is hard for people to understand that non-animal products can be a risk. Bean sprouts, including aduki, alfalfa, lentils, and mung beans, have been associated with a number of health scares, including an outbreak of salmonella in the UK in 2010. Salad leaves and green leafy vegetables can become contaminated with bugs like Salmonella and E. coli 157 from the soil. As O'Brien, bagged salad in particular can have bugs that stick to the cut edge of the leaf. That is where the nutrients are, and the bugs can be quite hard to get rid of by washing. There are around 1 million cases of food poisoning each year, according to the Food Standards Agency. The majority are caused by the bug Campylobacter, commonly found in uncooked poultry. It is thought to be present in the vast majority of chickens. But rice is also a common cause. It can contain Bacillus cereus, which is resistant to heat. It's one that a lot of people don't know about, but you do have to be very careful with rice, says Martin. It's not that rice itself is dangerous, but after it's been cooked, there are spores of bacteria that can germinate. The advice is to cool it quickly. If it is likely to be eaten later, take the worst of the heat out but then put it in the fridge. It doesn't need to be room temperature anymore. Fridges have improved, adds Martin. He also advises spreading it in shallow dishes to speed up cooking, or more simply, just cook the amount you want to eat. It's a very big idea to eat rice that's been sitting in a buffet at room temperature after being cooked. Any reheating at home should be thorough, but it's only safe if the advice above that has been followed. There is also official advice on the preparation on greens and salad. Wash vegetables under water rather than under a tap so germs are not spread around the kitchen. Vegetables should also be washed before they are peeled. Bear in mind that vegetables come from the soil, which is a living thing. In some farms, they are grown in soil with animal manure. As Martin, the basic message is that all food should be treated with respect. Don't abuse it. Don't expect too much from it.